putting a few mousetraps around this motherfucker. Just in case motherfucker try some shit, they have another thing coming. I told you, motherfucker, he ain't gonna do nothing. How many times I gotta tell you that? What you talking about, man? I don't fucking know them. You know them. If you think for 1 second that I'm gonna be in here ass naked with 10 bricks in one hand, my dick in the other, you fucking crazy. Let me explain something to you. Number one, I ain't no bitch. And if they try anything around here, they gonna have to kill me. Well, thank you, because they gonna have to kill me too. That's my family, Gooch. I told you, he ain't gonna try nothing. I grew up with him. I know his mama, I know his daddy, I know everybody in the mother. Talk about none of that, man. That shit don't mean nothing to me, man. You don't never let your guard down talking about family. Fuck that. This ain't no fucking game. 10 bricks is 10 bricks. A hustler will kill you for that. I would. You'll kill me. Man, get out of that bullshit, man. I ain't even say that shit like that. Nah, man, don't even try that shit on me, man. I said somebody else will kill you. That's what I was saying. A motherfucker will kill you for one. You already know that. You one of them motherfuckers.
That's a fact.
I hear you. Hey, brother, how can I help you? What up, man? Wade, right? Yeah, Wade. Cool. Let me get some rope, and some tape. And some tape. There you go, bro. Duct tape will be better. Duct tape, yeah. Okay, duct tape. Got that. There you go, brother. Take that for you. And a padlock. How could I forget a padlock? Padlock. There it is. Cool. That's what's up. It's a good one? Yeah, that's a good one, man. Everybody get that one? Okay, cool. Got my rope, so padlock, tape. Is that it, brother? And I'm gonna need my money. What the fuck is you talking about? Man, we don't even do that up in here, man. I was talking about. Before you start all that lying and shit, let me paint a picture for you where my head is at right now. I need you to feel me. You talking to a brother that just lost everything. And picture, he knows for a fact that you took it. I found my scammers and my get money bitches. Where all my scamming ass niggas say, spending that money fast, 20s, 50s, 100s cash. Boy, gonna go, y'all back. Boosting bitches, where y'all at? Stuffing that shit in y'all bag. Just to flip it, pop some tag. Girl, gonna go, y'all back. Spin that shit, spin that shit, spin that shit, spin that shit. Niggas spin that shit, spin that shit, spin that shit, niggas spin that shit. I like a gangsta ass nigga making more than 10 figures. I'm a down ass bitch riding with you in the swag. Only fuck with the hitters for his girl here. Tricker calling up his trap phone. Pussy nigga, where you at? Where you at? Show me where you spin a block on your ops. Hanging out the drop, screaming fuck the cops. What we doing, nigga? Show me where you hook. Bitches, where y'all at? Stuffing that shit in y'all bag. Just to flip it, pop some tag. Girl, going that go, y'all bag. Spin that shit, spin that shit, spin that shit. Spending that money fast, 20s, 50s, 100s cash. Boy, going that go, y'all bag. Boosting bitches, where y'all at? Stuffing that shit in y'all bag. Just to flip it, pop some tag. Girl, going that go, y'all bag. Spin that shit, spin that shit, spin that shit.
Yeah, so happy 4th of July. Happy 4th. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Hope you enjoying your weekend. Enjoying your time with the fam. You know, eating some good food. I know I did. That's why I had to do this shit. I had it set for later, but I'm like, man, let me do this shit before so I can lay my ass down. I'm full as hell, man. Hell yeah. But yeah, I hope y'all having a blessed day. Everybody staying blessed, staying safe. Shit, staying out the way, you know. But yeah, 4th of July. I always look at these. I always look at these holidays, folly days, like they scams. I always say that it's all marketing. It's all branding. You know what I'm saying? You know, capitalist, of course. But yeah, I say that because I mean, just like how I celebrated. I just eat some good food, chill out, relax. You know, I got fireworks, but yeah, I passed on this year though. But yeah, most people don't even highlight the meaning of this shit. Like people just be saying shit. Like they're like, what does it mean, freedom? then the nigga that know what they talk about, you ask them, freedom for who? Then it's crickets. They're like, it's kind of like asking somebody who they vote for. Motherfuckers really don't want to tell you. They don't really want to share their belief system, which I don't blame them. You get in a whole bunch of bullshit behind your belief system nowadays. People are going crazy over that shit. So with that said, like it's because I don't look at the 4th like it's Independence Day or anything like that. I ain't here to, be a negative Nancy and pop your bubble, burst your bubble on the shit or whatever. But at the same time, you see my title, The Lies of 4th of July. The Lies in 4th of July. And once again, like I've said in plenty other of my lives, I'm like, these is things that I didn't grow up knowing. You know, I didn't grow up knowing. And then obviously the people around me, whether they knew or not, shit, they wasn't trying to share it. They wasn't, it wasn't no conversation piece. So it's like being that I'm learning these things, which I knew this shit for some years now. But I just wanted to speak on it on this day on my live. Right? Like, yeah, it's like freedom for who, man? Independence for who? Like last time I checked, what is supposed to be celebration is what, 1776? 1776 or something like that. Right? And my people wasn't even freed. Foundational black Americans wasn't even freed, man. Oh. Well, yeah, like so it's like all hypocrisy. You know, it's all lies. That's that be revolving around these holidays. And I always look at it like that with all of them, really. With every one of these holidays. I spoke on it with the past one that we just passed, Memorial Day. Like I speak on it with the Christmas, the Xmas joint, all of them. Like it's like it's not. Motherfuckers really don't uphold the meaning. You know, honor. They don't honor it. You know, it's no honesty. You know, and they rather keep it that way because telling the truth, what that means. Oh, we gotta face some shit. We gotta face. You know, they gotta face take accountability for some things. And thus, when you speak of, like I just said, 1776, they supposed to be celebrating freedom, independence, and shit like that. And it's like everybody wasn't free, and we all know who. Black Americans were still enslaved. My lineage was still enslaved. My people were still treated as property in this nation. And see, here, fast forward to 2026, you know, it's been way before this, but by the time we get to right now, yeah, it's just all branding. It's all marketing. It's not even, people throwing their red, white, and blue, try to act like they patriots, showing patriotism, like they patriotic, and it's like all lies. It's a go along to get along game. That's all it is. That's all it is. Like I ain't hating on you. Throw some shit on the grill, but don't call it. Oh, we celebrating freedom. Like that's where you lying. Cause if we're gonna celebrate freedom, let's go all the way and let's tell the truth, right? Let's tell the truth, and then we can get to the bottom of some shit. We can get to the bottom of some shit. Like supposedly, boom, the core, the main focus of July 4th, supposedly the Declaration of Independence, right? 1776. It states all men were created equal. All men are equal. And that's a lie. That's a lie, right? I mean, Frederick Douglass called it out. Like how, you know what I mean? What is July 4th to a slave? I think that's how it go. Don't quote me, but you know, slave black people were still enslaved. And that was law. Like that was law on the books, on their constitution. Like we wasn't even considered as human. That shit is always gonna bother me, man. And it should bother you too. It shouldn't even matter the color. If you a black man, black woman, white man, white woman, and like everybody, Latino, Asian, like on these specific days, this is when, not even just today, but especially on today, you should be reminded like, man, we living a lie. We got to right some wrongs. You know what I mean? We got to right some wrongs in here. You can't be calling yourself an American if you constantly, you know what I mean, got hate, or you probably won't call yourself hate if you're like, oh well, I don't even hate nobody, but shit, you ain't willing to speak up either. You ain't really willing to right the wrong either. Like, I'm going to always push for reparations for my people. And I see constantly, even my own people are not pushing for it. They may not be against it, because shit, you know, once we get it, they're going to have their hands out. Shit, I don't blame them. But that's kind of foul that you sitting back, not pushing for it. But you'll celebrate days like these and shit, you know, when literally these are proof, these days are proof that, hey, man, we got a case. We got a case here on this country, case here on this U.S. government. You know, it's a debt owed. Like, it ain't no fucking handout. It ain't no begging for nothing. Like, you know, them others, yeah, they gonna always keep saying that shit. You know what I mean? They dishonest. They dishonest. I can't expect them to be otherwise, man. They do that in their daily. They lie to each other. You know what I mean? They lie to each other. They lie to their mother. They lie to their father. They lie to their kids and shit. I can't expect them to not do that. You know, but it is disgusting to see. You know, when it comes to days like this, my people, like, it'll be descendants of our ancestors, just like me, that you know, they was enslaved. Like, that's our history. That's our history, and for you not to acknowledge that, it's like total disrespect. And see, with them folks, you know what I mean, the dominant society, white folks and them, you know, them others, they don't even be knowing their history, man. And if they do, shit, they don't be wanting to face it. I just spoke on that the other day. When they see us, man, I'm like walking accountability. You know, when I walk in the room, you know, or you walk in the room, if you're a black man or black woman, or even the children, all of us, when we in their presence, when they in our presence, man, they feel so much weight on their chest. You know, that's for majority of them, not your twos and fews that are, you know, allied up, which you know, that's far and few. But yeah, when they see us, they, you know, you get a lump in their neck for real. It's accountability. Days like this, they're like, I definitely don't want to hear that shit. They rather keep kicking the can down the road. You know, they rather keep sweeping it under the rug. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes to them, they, you know, we had to hear about the Holocaust and all that shit. We ain't disrespected. You know, we had to hear about shit like that. You know, the Japanese internment camps, all kind of shit. You know, and we don't disrespect. Yeah, they don't even know they got paid. Why? Because by the time it got to them right now, shit, they done blew it. A lot of them done blew it. But also, a lot of them are living still off of the wealth of what should have been paid to our people. I always talk about that when you see these businesses, you know, your upholstery business, these mechanic shops and shit like that. It'll be like since 1912, you know, something like that on their sign. And you'd be like, you know, how'd they do that, you know? Because they didn't build what? A lot of them came here. They were immigrants. They came here. And they were given property, meaning they was given a slave, given a family, you know, and some land. Let them tell it shit. They'll lie to you. Let them tell it. They'll lie right in your square in your face, man. They'll be like, nah, you know, we grew up poor and all this shit. It's like two things could be right, motherfucker. Like, if you grew up poor, that means that y'all blew it. Y'all drunk it up, y'all smoked it up, whatever the fuck. I mean, you see your habits now. With, Yeah, a lot of them own slaves, man. A lot of them own slaves, you know. And they might even say this lie. They might say they were slaves too. And it's like, nah, you were called an indentured servant. You was called a servant. You know what I mean? That's totally different. It means you was paying off a debt. You was paying off a debt. Like you might have ran off on the plug or somebody or something. And then you had to work it off. There's plenty of accounts of this and plenty of books that you can read and find this out. There's plenty of records of this. Y'all wasn't getting, y'all wasn't dealing with chattel slavery. Uh, you wasn't unpaid, you know, partaking in unpaid labor. You wasn't having your family split up and sold, uh, you know, all the atrocities, you know what I'm saying? All the disgusting acts. Yeah, y'all wasn't dealing with that. Y'all wasn't considered no enslaved in America. So, yeah. Yeah, so, on days like this, you have no choice but to think about how, the foundation of this nation was built. You know, people like to throw out little vague statements like, oh, we celebrate freedom on July 4th. And it's like, okay, don't forget, you can't speak of, the story of this nation, the foundation of this nation without speaking of the truths behind, how it was built, forced by forced uh, labor, forced unpaid labor, enslavement of Black Americans. Like you can't tell the story without bringing up Black Americans. You know, they like to give you some like fairy tale shit. You know, smiling, chesty cat, smile on their face, like it's nothing. Ah, that was long ago. It's like nah, man. See what I mean? Like it's very disrespectful, super disrespectful. Like nah, when I think of July 4th, I don't just think of fireworks and red, white, and blue. Especially not now that I know. Now that I know, yeah, I can't unknow. So it's like, nah, man, we got some things we gotta make straight. We gotta make this shit straight. Motherfuckers just wanna, continue the narrative, fairy tale narrative like we are one big nation, one big happy nation. You know, that's what these holidays represent to me. It's like everybody it's kind of like how people root for teams, root for sports and shit. Like when the Knicks won, everybody, it like made the whole nation smile, made the whole nation get distracted by something that made them feel good for a little bit. And, you know, they could just throw the shit on the back burner and not have to face the reality of things just for a hot little series, right? And that's what these holidays be representing. It's not honesty, you know what I'm saying? To me, if you don't agree, hey, so be it. That's the truth to me. It makes you think of the truth. You can't deny the truth. But what they groom you up in this society. They rather everybody rather just be a simulation. You know, For some reason, it allows people to they feel like without facing truth, facing realities, everything goes smoother. You know, notice that you rarely run into people that actually want to face the shit, face the issue before them. In front of them. I just spoke on that the other day. Like whenever you run into an individual, or for example, or a group, like for example, what's going on with the immigrants, and or even with the dominant society when it comes to their issues. Black Americans is about the only ones that actually are built to face what's before them. We're about the only ones that literally face what's before us. We have no choice. We don't run nothing here. You know, we're the main focus. We're the main. They set up all kind of booby traps and banana peels just to oppress us. We're the oppressed here in this nation, so it's like we have no choice but to face it. That's how we look at it. Like shit. That's why you see most of us had this resilient, fighting, spirit. Nah, they have no back down. No pussy. None of that. You just can't help it. That's how I was. I'm born and bred like that. Like most of the black men and black women, it's like that. It's like, and we like that since a young boy. It's just in us. You can't go buy this. You can't cosplay this. You know. And I see that be ruffling y'all feathers though. The others, it really bothers y'all that y'all can't do that. You know. But what y'all can do is keep perpetuating lies. That's what I noticed. That be y'all culture. Y'all culture is to keep pushing lies. And if you know anything about a liar, they got to lie, right? And they got to keep stacking on that lie. Like they got to remember the first lie when they telling their 30th lie. They got to, you know what I mean? They got to keep going. They already in too deep. Shit crazy. So here we are, 250 years in too deep. You see what I'm saying? Or I would say longer. Because it's like, who was free? Once again, who was fucking free? The people that built the nation wasn't free. Like all this wealth that this country was built on, my lineage, my people wasn't free. So 250 where? For who? The foundation of America is a big contradiction. You know, freedom for some, I guess. That's what you could say. Freedom for some, happy freedom for some day. Bondage for others. But anyway, like I was already speaking on these days, it should be a day for especially Black Americans. If you ain't already pushing for reparations, this should be a day where you know you put that energy out there in the world. You put that energy in the room around your loved ones, what have you. You know, don't just talk about bullshit, athletes and celebrities and shit. Speak on some real shit. Everybody got social media. Most of our people got Facebook. You know what I mean? Start up a little, trend that like, hey, we got to push for these reparations. This is like the best time to do it. This is the best time to do it, right? Because we got social media. our ancestors, even the folks in the 70s and the 80s, they ain't have no motion like this. You know what I mean? That's why they had to be in the street and going toe to toe with them. You know what I mean? It ain't like we can't do that now, but it's like, why do that? Why risk, limb and body, when you can be strategic in this manner? And if we have, you know what I mean? If you have to, yeah, you get boots on the ground, strap up, what have you. God forbid, you know what I mean? Bloodshed, like it is what it is. But my focus of bringing this up is you can't be on no going along to get along, because what they want you to do is be rocked to sleep, especially on these holidays. They want you to be rocked to sleep along with them. I'm talking about the masses of them folks, because it's a lot of them folks that know that our people is rocked to sleep, and that's going along. That's going according to their plan. Like they're like good, as long as they don't rise up and get, you know what I mean, get smart and start pushing for what the truth is. They want you to keep going along with the lies. Belly full, drunk, fun, fun, fun. You just, you know what I'm saying? You just rock to sleep. They want you to be like that. Everything is just lollygagging. Everything is just nonchalant. Like they want everything like that. They don't want you to rise up and get some, you know what I mean, cojones behind you, like where you're like, oh, this is the truth. Y'all been lying, and I ain't with it. They don't want you to have that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? And they know a lot of our folks is with that, but there's more of us that ain't. Yeah, there's more of our people that ain't. Like you go to speak to them about reparations, and they're like this is the perfect example. Check it. I had said this to one of my elders, speaking of reparations, and I was like, yeah, man, we're getting closer to getting reparations, and they responded in a in a humorous, discouraging way. Like they were like, we ain't gonna get that, man. We ain't gonna get no reparations. Yeah, we've been trying to get reparations since, like whatever year it was, like 60s, whatever year he was talking about. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, it like it popped my bubble. I ain't gonna lie, cause I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm empowered by this. Like I'm like fully all in. I'm all in. You know what I mean? Especially talking to an elder that ain't with it, it really bothered me. It didn't discourage me. I was about to say it discouraged me. No, it didn't discourage me. It just, stumbled me, staggered me a little bit. You know what I mean? Hit me on the chin a little bit. Like I'm like, oh shit. Like, damn, your spirit gone, huh? Like they done got you. You know what I'm saying? They done got you. You believe in the lies now. You done submitted to the lies. You know, you ain't even got no more fight in you if you ever had it. So it's like, nah, I'm gonna remove myself. Cause I got the fight in me. I got the fight in me. Excuse me. You know what I mean? I got the fight in me. I got the spirit of the energy, the fight in me of my ancestors. Even the ones that I grew up with. I ain't even just talking about, ones that I never knew in my bloodline, in my lineage that was enslaved way back then. When I do my traces, I'm talking about even ones that I grew up with, and they just recently, transitioned. Rest in peace. You know, it's like, yeah, I do it for them. I do it for my grandma. You know, I do it for my mother. Like, I do it, you know what I mean? Like, fuck all that. I don't see how anybody that's Black American can't feel that way. You should be feeling that way, man. Like, do it for your people. Like, you know what I mean? Do it for your future. Your kids. Do it for their future. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a debt owed. These days like this is a reminder. Like I said, when we speak on it, man, it burns their ears. They rather kick cans down the road. They like perpetuating lies. And when they hear truth, that's why it's you see what I mean? That's why they got a whole campaign of shutting you the fuck up. They got a whole campaign of muzzling you, erasing your history. You know what I mean? Trying to rewrite history. That's what these days remind me of when it comes to these holidays. Especially being a 90s kid, it's like that's all it's ever been. It's always been known for fireworks, you know, cookouts, you know what I'm saying? Running it, you know what I mean? Being with your family. Like it ain't never been about the actual reason why this day is that day. Like nobody ever had, like I can honestly say, I never had no situation where I'm at a cookout and then, one of the elder brothers, one of the unks, or somebody sat us all down and actually broke it down. Like in this, I think that's important. I think that's imperative, and that should be the new wave. Now you ain't gotta bop nobody over the head. You can make it entertaining. You know what I'm saying? You can make it however you want to. You know what I mean? Get the message through. Like, hey, just plant that seed. Plant that seed in the youth. Plant that seed in your people. Like, hey, man, this is the truth. It ain't all about fucking eating potato salad and ribs and shit and lighting off fireworks and caca and kiki. It ain't about all that. Like we got a real live situation still at hand. Open case, and it's been open case. For fuck's sake, I feel like when they do all this, you know what I mean? When they do all this, it's like a mockery. It's kind of like a mockery, a slap in our face. Because, like I said, they want you to stay rocked to sleep. They want you to stay belly full, you know, psychosis and, you know what I mean? Totally, you know what I mean? Hypnotized and brainwashed and no fight in you, discouraged, you know what I mean? They want you to stay that way. That way you'll never know that you being lied to. You'll never notice you being lied to. The more motherfuckers that's like that, shit. When a nigga like me walk in the room and tell you the truth of the shit, man, I'm liable to get attacked. Get out of here with that, nigga. Get out of here with that, Sharif. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. That's what niggas gonna say. It's like, yo. So I get me and the other twos and fews. There's a lot of brothers and sisters that is going way hard for these reparations, and they don't be getting the support that should be behind them. You know, it's in within a select group, a select community where they get the support. I support them. You know what I mean? But they should be bigger than man. They should be bigger than LeBron. They should be bigger than fucking Beyonce. You don't hear them niggas talking about none of this shit. Wonder why. You see what I mean? Like, that's crazy. I spoke on that a while ago. I'm like, man, imagine if one of these rappers, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take like a Dirk, or maybe not Dirk, but it's going to take somebody big, you know what I mean? You know, you would think J. Cole would say something. being from North Carolina, but I think he got a white mom. I don't know, but you know, somebody, Kendrick threw it out there a little bit. He threw a bone a little bit at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Had his little red, white, and blue performance. I think he said reparations in that song, real brief. Yeah, he need to get on that, man. Keep, you know, even if he does get pushed back, it's like, man, you made buku money now, man. I'm sure you got it in stocks. I'm sure you got it in franchises and businesses and shit. I'm sure it's growing. You know, if you don't make another fucking song, you know, an album or whatever, your people still gonna stand behind you. And if anything, your people is gonna get behind you even more. Your audience is gonna grow even more if you get on the front lines pushing that message, push for reparations for your people. You know what I mean? Especially you coming from LA, Compton, or whatever. You know, California was the last to be freed. You know what I mean? They were the last to be freed, to be exact. The slaves. And if you ask me, shit, it was way beyond, you know, 18, like, what was it, 90 something? Yeah, it was way beyond that. It was way beyond that, man. It was still slaves. It was still slaves in the 60s, man. Yeah, I've heard that from my grandma. And then boom, if you want to really get technical, right now it's still slavery. They just doing it in a different way. They do it through paperwork. You know, they just do it through paperwork. Of course, they got the prison system. You know, the institutions or whatever. But shit, now they just doing it through paperwork and depriving you of resources, boxing you out. You know what I mean? Boxing you out of this lane, that lane. Cause I don't know about you, like I could say that I've done all the right things. I've done all the right things, meaning like it's always been what these slogans that you grow up hearing as a '90s kid, are like, you know what I mean? Be all you can be. When I grow up, I want to be a da da da, this and that, this and that. And when you do all the right things, like you still run into these walls that no one else runs into. And I ain't know this shit until I got older. You know, you would just think that, oh, maybe that person, their credentials was better, or their interview was better, or this and that. And it's like, nah, damn. Now I know it's actually a system. It's systemic, you know, and that's major to know. Because when you're talking about system, you can't talk about this system without bringing up the lies. Like it's not a righteous system. It's not a truthful system. It doesn't stand on truth, right? So yeah, I've always done the right thing. You know, I might have had some hiccups. You know what I'm saying? And those come from when I've had my hiccups. Those come from you know. Like I said, it's like orchestrated. You know, it's like, damn, they ain't hiring. And you go pick up something, you move something, and then, how the good Lord done made my path, made my journey. Yeah, I get jammed up. My brother, shit, this nigga will be a trap star. You know what I mean? Me, as soon as I go to pick up something, I get jammed up. I was never no good drug dealer or none of that. Fuck no. I was good at one thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, as far as the streets. And that was just, that just comes from me being a protector. Like, yeah, I definitely can protect some shit, you know, or take some shit basically. I can make you give it up. I don't hang my hat on that type of shit, but that's one thing that I was good at. But when it comes to that, trying to get money in the streets and all that shit, it's like for some reason, yeah, God didn't have that in my path. Like he's like, nah, this ain't you. I don't even gotta have a whole pack. I don't even gotta have weight. I get jammed off of a little shit. Cause I ain't trying to have no weight on me. Anytime I would get some shit, man, I instantly fucking give it to my brother and let him get it off. True story. But yeah, man, like everything be orchestrated, right? You notice that everything just be orchestrated. So it's like, damn, how's this? I'm doing all the right things. Typed up resume. I got certifications, this and that. You know, for example, like when we learn about the redlining effect, when we learn about, you walk into these banks and you try to get a loan. All this shit is present right now. Still, like slavery ended. You know what I mean? When it ended, right? But it still continued in another way. It went from Jim Crow, black codes, to now they doing it through paperwork. They doing it through different, different approach in the system. And let them tell it, you ain't working hard enough. They don't work hard at all. I'll keep it 1,000. They don't work hard at all. A lot of them get shit handed to them, seriously, just based on their skin color. Because you could walk in with all the right credentials. You could you could graduate, you could do this, that. Just because you black, nah, you know, they'll turn you down. They'll turn you down, man. All that shit is still present time. All those tactics is still modern day, right? But I want to say, yeah, America is big on selling, right? It's one big ass business. You know, it's one big ass business, and not only do they sell you products and shit, they're good at selling the damn story, selling that lie. Yeah, they good. They good at selling the lie, or they'll give you they give you a twisted truth, a twisted truth, like not the whole truth, right? Like and all over the world, people like to think America is the greatest country on earth, greatest nation on earth in the world. But at the same time, shall I say, when I say that, boom, yeah, those other nations, the other countries and continents and places, that was something that was sold to them as well. That that dream, the American dream, right? That's why you had these immigrants coming here, flocking here in the millions, in the thousands to come here, and they quickly realized that that's all a myth, man. That's all a myth. when they get here, who be the ones that tell them the truth, right? Who be the ones that tell them the fucking truth? It be black Americans. We try to tell the other black immigrants. We try to tell the Latinos. They all look at us like, shut up, nigga. You know, uh, you just gotta work hard. Shit like that. It's, and it's like you wouldn't even be here without the fucking fight that that my people had to put up for you to even come here. They don't really want you here. They don't want you here. They only want you here to fucking be a proxy against me, because they know I'm the fighter. You sit on your hands. These are the facts. You know how I know? Because when y'all get in the jam, like y'all in the jam now, when this commander in chief that's in there now started deporting y'all, the first thing y'all want to do is point at us. Like y'all don't take y'all lick, y'all point at us. You're like, but what about the black Americans? We can't be deported. This is my nation. This is where I'm from. I'm the foundation, thus foundational black American. Like you was only able to come here because we made it safe for you to, be able to walk down the street without being harassed by them demons, by the down society. We made it safe for you to get on the bus, get on the train, and all that. They don't be knowing the history, man. They all they know is that it's popular. It's the narrative to be anti-black when you come here. That's all they know. It's very much the way of the nation. It's just like eating apple pie or playing baseball. Racism. Be racist towards them blacks. They're like, as long as we, tuck our tail and, you know, kiss the white man dick, pause, and say fuck them niggas, fuck the black people, we'll be alright. It's like, nope. Nope. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Yeah, that definitely ain't work. How that's working for you? You see, you ain't ally up, especially you immigrant blacks, non FBA blacks. You come here and go against us, man. That's crazy. That's super wild. I don't know if you noticed the whites, the Irish and the different ones that come here that are white. They don't come here pushing that shit. They come here and get right on board with them whites here. Before you know it, this nigga's tucked in down there, down south somewhere, and you would have thought he grew up down south. That's how much they align up with the whites when they know when they come here they're white. You know what I mean? They're not Sicilian. They're not this and that. You know what I mean? Nah, they well, Africana or whatever. Nah, man. They come here and they align up with the whites. You know, they come in and line up with the whites, and it's like, that's what y'all should have did, come in and line up with us. Like, who better to tell you how to get down here in this nation than the people that actually built it, the people that actually fight against, you know, the oppressor. We fight for these laws that you live under right now that help you. Whether you try to acknowledge them and not bring us up or not, shit, you just lying to yourself. I know y'all like to lie, but shit, nope. That's the truth. You know, 13th Amendment, 14th, like, yeah. As you can see, birthright citizenship. Like, that was originally speaking of, you know, the babies of slaves. Which, who are the slaves? Who was the enslaved here in this nation? Who did that pertain to? Right. So yeah, like I said, on days like this, on July 4th, you know, you should be reminded of the truths that this nation still ain't willing to face. You know, you should be reminded of the, you know, the debts that are not paid, you know, reparations to foundational Black Americans, you know, us being actually treated like the foundation of this nation. They're giving hate crime bills to everybody but us. I'm like the fucking bald eagle, and you know, I don't got no hate crime, I don't got no protection. You know, we can't even, you know, not saying that we don't, but shit, it's even on the books that we can't even, you know, it's unwritten, but we know, you know what I mean? We can't even defend ourselves without some kind of, you know what I'm saying? But I'll be the first to tell you, go all the way. Defend yourself at all means, by any means necessary. You know? But yeah, you know, like I said, on days like this, when you don't face the truth, you constantly perpetuating a lie. You telling half the story, if not any of the story. Like, you know, you telling half the fucking story, man. And it's like, how can you celebrate a lie like that? How can you celebrate a lie? And look, most people will hear this and be like, most people will hear this and be like, you know, they get all defensive and shit and be like, man, you up here shitting on America. You must be anti-America. And it's like, hell no, I ain't anti-America. It's not about me being anti-American, you know, not at all. Like, I'm not attacking America. I'm holding America accountable. Like, you could look like shit. If anything, me as a Black American, and I'm speaking for most Black Americans, shit, we're the only ones that's truly American. We're the only ones that truly love this nation. Whether it's indirectly or directly, we're the only ones that uphold the laws, uphold the, you know, the Constitution and things like that. You know, we was forced to. we was forced to, and thus we fall in line. We fall in line. We created our own laws, to, civil rights and things to make sure everybody can live a little better under this regime, as opposed to going along to get along with the bullshit. I could say this for my generation, and I salute, and not just my generation. I'm talking about just the people that are living right now here in this nation. Black Americans that are, you know, eyes open, you know, pushing, some change. They pushing some change for the future, even if we don't live to see it. Like they got that fire lit in them, and they pushing for change that's going, you know what I mean? That's going to live forever, just like what our ancestors had to do. They survived so we could live. And I feel that same energy. I feel that same energy. Okay, I gotta put forth some effort. I gotta put forth some effort. I gotta fight for these reparations. I gotta fight. We fight for that hate crime bill. To where we can get some protection in the street. We won't have these bitch ass, uh, hate crimes happening. Pull up at the cookout at the barbecue and yelling the N word out the window and come back with an AR and shit like that. Cause let's say the brother unalived that white boy. See, just like with the sister the other day in Florida or wherever that was in the parking lot. Let's say that white boy shot at her, and killed her. It wouldn't be all this pushback. They would be celebrating that pussy, you know. But they trying to make it seem like that wasn't self defense. I think she got off. Hopefully she got off. It's like shit. You giving somebody a warning and they up there walking you down and trying to attack you. And for some reason they think that it's all free game when it comes to our black women, our black kids, or even a soft brother. Rest in peace, Jordan Neely. You see, he ain't attacked nobody. That pussy choked him from the back. He could have. I always look at that situation like, damn, why didn't you let go? Like you had him subdued. You ain't have to You ain't have to touch him at all. But shit, let's just say, okay, boom, you held him because you trying to be some fucking superhero. You held him. Why don't you let go? You know. Then they kill him, and then they let him off. And then not only that, this whole nation, these white motherfuckers funded him, funded his GoFundMe or whatever that is, gave him money, like he was like what? Who gets paid for this shit? Chud the Builder, the lady that called the little kid a nigger, ER. Like, what's going on? Ain't no what's going on shit. That's what's going on. That's what you living among. So that's the reality. No fable, no sugarcoating. Yeah, it ain't. I'm definitely not on no shit like I'm anti-American. Like I said, if anything, shit, this is me being an American and holding my country accountable. Cause I feel like what the fuck? How can you call this a day of freedom when one, everybody wasn't free, and two, justice wasn't served. Like you still got an unpaid debt. You still didn't right the wrongs of, and both of those coincide. You see what I mean? Both of those are linked. Like you enslaved my people, and you calling it a day of freedom, a day of celebrating freedom and independence, when my people were dependent because they wasn't even fucking free. They wasn't even, you know what I mean, considered human here in this nation. So it's like 250 for who? 250 for who? Freedom without justice is a lie. You can't celebrate independence when dependence was forced on my people, on my ancestors. Being dependent was forced on my ancestors. Being enslaved, like you ain't allowed them to live. Yeah, days like this just be like a constant push for to keep people rocked to sleep, man. Like a distraction. Like I said, it's like in sports, celebrations. Temporary satisfactions, temporary distractions. Keeps people from asking real questions, asking about the truth, asking for the truth, asking, holding people accountable to the truth, demanding real changes. You know what I'm saying? Like they like to say history, oh, this is all long ago, isn't it? Oh, this is a long time ago and shit like that. Yeah, history ain't just the past. History ain't just the past because check it, the history formed what's going on right now. I'm walking proof. I'm the foundation of right now. My people are the foundation of right now, and we still here. So you can even call FBA. We walk in history. Not only walk in accountability, we walk in history. When you see me, you see history. You see foundation. You see truth. Yeah, I'm not speaking on this to tear down America or what have you. Although it does need to be, the system needs to be, you know, rebuilt. That system needs to be destroyed, and then, the system of white supremacy needs to be ended and destroyed, and a new just system needs to be rebuilt. But yeah, I'm not speaking on this to tear down America. When I'm talking about the lies of 4th of July, hey, I'm just here to, tell the truth. You know, these should be days where the nation, everybody that call themselves a so-called American, even these immigrants that want to call themselves an American or fighting to stay here in America. That's one of the things you gotta face is that, hey, when you come to this country, the people that are the foundation is us. It's not them white men. It's not that white woman. That's the truth. Peace. Be blessed.